Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Well, it's a wobbly Tuesday, really. We started off in the green, then we're trading in the red. There is a bit of a recovery as we speak, but still, all the three frontliners are trading in the red. For the next half hour odd, I'm Nigel D'Souza, and with me, Sumaira Abdi. Hey, Sumaira. Things are looking a little wobbly today. In fact, the PSU banking index, that's being sold into.
Yeah, it's true, actually. And, you know, it's not alone. Like, it's pretty much a lot of things that are getting sold into. And one would expect that a day after record highs, people would want to take some bit of money off of the table. So that's why the market stands at the moment. Here are the top stories. Tata Motors is the top Nifty gainer, up over 4% in trade as promoters buy 1.7% equity at 421 rupees a share via a large deal. Promoter holding now goes up to 36.4%.
And Tata Global Beverages gains after more than 4 crore shares worth 924 crore rupees exchange hands on the BSE at an average price of 214 rupees per share.
Stocks like GAIL, IGL and Gujarat Gas gain anywhere between 2 to 3% after Morgan Stanley bets big on gas companies, hikes the price target on all the three stocks as a multi-year growth cycle has begun.
And Divi's Laboratories is a tad bit nervous. It comes off 3% from the high point of the day as the street awaits closure of the US FDA re-inspection of its Unit 2.
And JP Group stocks like JP Associates and JP Infratech Tank, CNBC TV18 learns that all the lenders to the debt-ridden group are set to meet today to take stock of claims of all creditors. That's a CNBC TV18 exclusive.
And another large trade today, ADF Foods is up more than 12% after 9 lakh shares changed hands on the BSE at a price of 229 rupees per share. Okay, then, Ashwini Gujral saw some nervousness in the Nifty. He was looking at the 10,150 mark very, very closely. I think he went short at around 10,160. Ashwini, that short trade is working out. What are the targets are you looking at? I think you're getting close to around 30 points already. So do you see more downside from here, or do you believe that, in fact, at some point of time, we could see a recovery today?
Well, you can say that, previous highs have failed or fresh highs have failed because we should have built on these gains, but given that now we are firmly trading below 10,150, I think we could head towards the lower end of the band from where we broke out. So possibly Nifty futures could go towards 10,130, so that means Nifty could go towards about 10,010, 10,020. But overall, hardly three sectors are positive. Decliners are, heading advancers. It's not a good feeling on the second day of a breakout. So my sense is that sooner or later, people who went long yesterday will start losing money, and that will probably accentuate the fall. So yesterday's breakout, pretty much, that story seems to be over. While, people who are in it for the next few days can continue to hold on till, say, 24,900 on the Bank Nifty, or maybe even 10,050 on the Nifty. But just from an intraday point of view, I think there could be downside for the day. As far as individual stocks are concerned, Indigo is a sell with a stop of 1150, target of 1120. SBI is a sell with a stop of 272, target of 260. And Colgate is a buy with a stop of 1150, target of 1190.
All right, Ashwini, thanks very much for joining in with your morning trades. Let's shift focus into some corporate voices. And here's a voice that we don't hear very often. Earlier this morning, we caught up with Amit Agarwal, the CFO of Jet Airways, on the company's debt reduction plans and, importantly, the rumors of a stake sale.
Over the last 2.5 years, we have been able to reduce the debt by more than 2,800 crores in the company. So that continues to be our focus. The company evaluates various opportunities in order to optimize or reduce the cost of borrowing, and thereby we will not rule out a possibility to say one or the other opportunity would exist in order to reduce the cost of borrowing and would do some kind of a refinancing. This has been going on for more than 2 years. You know, at different points of time, initially it came that Etihad is intending to increase the stake. Then when it does not come out truth, then some other stories. So I cannot be commenting on the speculation and the rumors which are floating around. We know that our focus is to work on the performance of the company.
Watching Chartbusters. With the government pushing for electrification of vehicles, a host of stocks have been buzzing. In fact, on our radar now is GNA Axles, and look at the way this stock has moved in the last 1 month, up about 22% odd. Just between yesterday and today, the stock is up about 11% odd, sitting at a 52-week high. Joining in now is Mr. Ranbir Singh, the President and CEO of the company. Mr. Singh, good morning, sir. Thanks very much for joining in. So the first question is exactly that. How is your company going to be impacted by this augment of e-vehicles? Would you need to add some capacity, or would you be totally agnostic to this change?
Good morning, Esmera. We are into rear axle shafts business, and mainly 50% domestic and the rest in the international market. Already we are manufacturing axle shafts for electric vehicles, and we are working for different new programs also with one of our German customer. And our axle shafts are same for electric vehicles. Since we are into medium and heavy trucks and tractors, so those areas are not affected at all.
All right, Mr. Singh, you know, other companies have been seeing a lot of selling, but your stock has been moving up. So fair to say that you believe that the introduction of electric vehicles into India will not really impact your business?
Nigel, actually in India, immediately government is moving and giving a lot of stress on the smaller cars and the city vehicles, where a lot of impact of pollution is there. That environmental challenges are there in the cosmopolitan and metropolitan cities. So where the impact is too much of the environment, so they are going strongly for the city buses. They are going strongly for the small cars like 800 to 1500 cc. That area will be affected maybe within 4 to 5 years' time. But in those vehicles, our components are not used. Our components are for CVs, commercial vehicles and tractors.
So weren't you, my apologies, sir, for interrupting you. Weren't you planning to get into LCVs and SUVs? I mean, there were some reports that indicated that you had perhaps had bought some land for this facility and were looking at some capex here?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, SUV business that we are starting for mainly for North America and Europe. Because North American market is a very huge market. That's over 3.5 to 4 million vehicles per year, and they are consuming about 8 million components per year. So there is a gap. That market we want to start with to take 20-25% share in that market in next 3 to 4 years' time. That is our target.
All right, Mr. Singh, you know, that's the point I was getting to. North America, how much of your business comes in from there? Because we're looking at the North America truck sales, and that's been looking very good. How much of your, revenues come in from the North American market? And last year you did roughly around 510, 515 crores. This year, since you're saying that, things are looking so good, what kind of a revenue growth can we look at? Last time you told us around 13 to 15%. Sticking by that?
Last year we have done 513 crore net sales, and this year we are targeting to cross 600 crores. That will be around 15% growth. North American share in a value terms on total sales, it is around 20% of the total revenue.
Okay.
Okay. So what's your current capacity at, and are you looking to increase that?
Yes, with the last IPO, this plant and machinery, out of that 20 crore was kept for the debottlenecking. That has taken place. It has given us an addition of 500,000 component of capacity this year. That capacity is giving us the growth of 15%. And rest of the 60 crore we are investing for the forging and in all areas, in machining also. That will give us additional capacity of 500,000 components, and which will give us support for coming financial year. that's the whole scene.
So, Mr. Singh, I have some numbers up for you on the screen. At the start of FY18, I think at the time of your IPO, the total capacity was roughly on 3.1 million units. That's gone up, you're saying, to what, 3.5, 3.6 million units?
Yes, it is. We have added 400 to 500,000 components. That's the 3.5 million is the capacity.
Okay.
This year, the total production will be around 3 million.
All right. And your capacity utilization levels currently are what? Last year it was 80%, I think so.
This is 80%. Even now, we are utilizing 80%. Yes.
All right. Mr. Singh, if you could help us out, your margins are quite healthy for an auto ang company at around 16%. Is there downside risk over there? Can you hold on to these 16% margins?
Not at present. There is no risk, and we are maintaining the same margins.
But the rupee is appreciating, so won't that impact? You have 50%.
No, it is not affecting at this moment, and we are hopeful till March this financial year, this will not affect.
All right. Mr. Singh, Sumaira was just telling you about you were looking at getting into LCV and SUV. So you'll require more capacities coming on stream. Do you have the required funds from that IPO that you did? Do you have some funds that are left over? And will you have to raise some more money? Do you think you'll have to take some more debt to take care of this expansion? And by when can we see it? FY19, FY20 or FY20, FY21? What's the targeted, commissioning of these LCV, SUV units? And what revenues can you see coming in from there?
In next 2 years' time, this SUV component manufacturing plant will be ready.
Okay.
And for that, we are investing from internal accruals and maybe some little debt we have to take from the institutes. But that will give us an additional capacity of 1 million components in next 2 years' time for SUVs and LCVs.
Okay, all right, Mr. Singh. Thanks so much, sir, for joining in fact, giving us all those details. So that's the management there of JNA Axles. They believe that the introduction of electric vehicles into India won't impact their business that much. The stock has seen a big run of more than 20% in this month itself. They're targeting revenues of around 600 crores and they're saying margins of around 16%. Couple of factors. Tractor sales is what we're looking at. The second factor is the North American trucks as well. Stocks that have been absolutely running on steroids. You pull up Jaycorp, just take a look at that stock. It's moving higher. It's up more than 10%. It's moving on very, very high volumes. And the other one is Reliance Indus Infra. You pull up the intraday chart as well over there. Both these two stocks have seen a big run in this month itself. They're up between 15 to around 20% approximately. So let's pull up the other stock as well. That was trading in the red at the start of the show. Just take a look at that. It's flying away, and both these two stocks, big returns and volumes as well picking up on both these two stocks. But let's focus on the, some of these stocks that are related to the gas space. Morgan Stanley, they are betting big on these gas companies. Varinder has been tracking all of them since early morning and they're doing very, very well. Varinder, tell us.
Well, as they say, better late than never for Morgan Stanley. They came up with the report. Of course, it's a very, very bullish report. They say that multi-year growth cycle for gas has begun. Honestly, they were very bearish on the gas space for the longest of the times. And look at the change, what has happened. Of course, GAIL is the most levered play if you're playing out for the gas space in India. And they have double upgraded the stock to overweight. For GAIL, actually, they have increased the target price to 522. Earlier, they were sitting at 245. So from 245, they went to 522. So they were bearish. The CMP, of course, was 400 in the morning. For IGL, I know the entire market was saying IGL, when only Morgan Stanley was awarding it. And they had a price target of 732. And they increased 732 price target to 1721. That is up by nearly 2.5 times. And the price was 1440 at the time of upgrade. Ditto with Gujarat Gas from 719 to 1143. And the CMP at 830. Good upgrade. But for GAIL, every one of the state is watching out for what happens to the Henry Hub contract, which is in the US. That will be the major trigger for GAIL going ahead. There's still many people in the market who are bearish on GAIL, so Morgan Stanley stands apart now. But the Henry Hub, because we have seen from Australia, from Qatar, that renegotiation happening in, but the Henry Hub from US remains the most important because it's the biggest one for GAIL. So let's see what happens to that. But otherwise, market seems to be happy on all these gas stocks.